Less than 2 months ago, I was able to meet a very dynamic woman who is now our spokesperson for Reject Emergency Financial Managers, Betsy Kafia.
Thank you, Kevin. As you said, my name is Betsy Kafia, and I want to focus on 3 topics this morning. I want to talk about why we're here. I want to talk about where we are in the repeal process, and I want to talk finally about why I support this repeal effort personally and why I urge every Michigan citizen to support it as well. So first, we are here today to officially announce a nonpartisan statewide grassroots effort to repeal Public Act 4 of 2011, the new emergency manager law. Our local group, Reject Emergency Managers, is working in cooperation with a nonprofit called Michigan Forward, and many individual citizens and grassroots groups all over the state. We're hearing from Petoskey, Grand Rapids, the Upper Peninsula, groups and citizens who are just very concerned and very much feeling like repeal really is our only option as citizens because our legislators and our governor decided that this law was okay for Michigan. We don't think it's okay for Michigan. We're here today because this law is bad for Michigan for more reasons than I can actually list right now. Having read the law myself several times, it is shocking what is in this law. But ultimately, I'll focus on the main point. The emergency manager law is bad for Michigan because it gives one person sole control over school districts and communities. One unelected, unaccountable person running our towns and our schools. That's wrong. Our governor and our legislators refused our pleas for amendments that would have built in appropriate accountability, community input, and overall checks and balances for someone with this kind of power. Our governor and our legislators did not listen to us. They passed it. The governor signed it into law on March 16th. This law, as it is written, is bad for Michigan. It dismantles local control. It undermines the democratic process that we all hold very dear. We, the citizens of Michigan, must and will repeal it. Why are we here? Why should we here in northern Michigan worry that this law will ever affect us? I personally was told by my state representative that this was not something we in northern Michigan needed to worry about, that this wasn't for us. But lo and behold, the specter rises. Schools as close by as Central Lake, Alba, and Bel Air, all in Antrim County, our neighbor, were named just this past week by their state representative, Greg McMaster, as very much in danger of their very own emergency manager. Our group has communicated with people all across Michigan who are alarmed about this law's potential and how much of an overreach of big government this is. Upper Peninsula communities have packed out town hall meetings. They're worried about their school districts. They've cut, they've privatized, they've done so many things already, and yet still they're very worried that they too will qualify for an emergency manager. All over the state, school districts, including TCAPs, are feeling the pressure both of the emergency manager law and the anticipated cuts to per pupil funding included in the new budget. And let's not forget that this law comes out at the same time that our governor and our legislature wants to cut revenue to local communities in the form of mandatory revenue sharing. This at a time when many of our communities have already been walking a razor's edge financially in these tough economic times. We the people must repeal this law. I want to talk for a moment about the work that goes into a repeal, which is my second point, and please bear with the civics lesson. I'll try and make it painless. While we wish a repeal were as simple as drafting up a petition, gathering signatures, and voting, our state actually has a very exacting process before we can even get one signature. We've been in this process for more than a month now, and petition language was submitted at the end of April to the state. The Michigan Bureau of Elections has just approved our petition formatting, and we are now jumping through the final of several legal hoops before petitions are in hand. Our petitions are now with the Michigan Board of Canvassers, who will read not only our petition itself, but the rendering of the entire law on the back of each petition. This is a legal requirement. We actually have to have a printed copy of the law itself, which at 8-point font is over 20 pages long, has to be attached to every single petition. So, the Michigan Board of Canvassers right now has the delightful job of combing our rendition line by line to be sure that each word, each comma, and each period is exactly as it's supposed to be, as the law is written on the books. So, as I said, that's our final legal hoop before we actually have petitions on the ground. And I personally, and I think I can speak for Amy, Fran, and Kevin, will be doing backflips when we actually have the piece of paper in our hand ready for local citizens, including the leaders gathered here in Traverse City today, to sign their names for repeal. To get this law on the ballot, we need 161,304 signatures. That's 5% of the total votes cast in the last governor's election. Our goal is 250,000 in 120 days. The moment the required number of signatures is certified, and this very much empowers me, this fact, as a citizen, the moment the required number of signatures is certified by the state, the people of Michigan will have suspended this bad law. And our state will revert back to the old version, Public Act 72 of 1990. And this will remain the case until we, the citizens, cast our vote to make the decision as to whether to repeal Public Act 4, the Emergency Manager Law. My third and final point is, why do I care? Why am I here? Why am I fighting to repeal the Emergency Manager Law? I'm not an elected official. I've never run for office. I don't have any plans to. I don't belong to any political party. I don't declare Democrat or Republican, but I do vote. I don't belong to a union. I didn't even actually grow up going to public school. I was homeschooled until 12th grade. So why do I care? I'll tell you why. Because this is my state. I'm a Michigan citizen. I vote, and I care very, very deeply about my community and my state. I believe in the ideals and the values we share in Michigan and in our nation. Values we're known for around the world. Values like representative government, local control, community members having a say over what happens in their own communities. We came together as ordinary citizens because we saw this law as a threat to our rights and our beliefs as the people of the state of Michigan. Public Act 4 of 2011 should be of concern to every Michigander who cares about what happens in their own community and in their own school. It should be a concern for those of us who care about whether waterfront, like our beautiful public open space, like Grand Traverse Bay, Little Traverse Bay, the Leelanau Peninsula, our beautiful waterfront that is public. Those of us who care that our public accesses, our beaches, and our parks stay public and available to all. Why should we be concerned? Because an emergency manager in this law can sell or privatize public land, waterfront, parks, etc. And there is no need for them to consult with the citizenry or our elected officials. That's wrong. Not only is it wrong, it's quite disturbing, actually. This law should be of concern to parents who want educators to make decisions in their schools about things like their child's class size, the curriculum, the length of the school day, busing, no busing, food services, all of these issues. They should be concerned because the emergency manager does not have to possess any background in education, but can make all of these decisions and more for the school district they run. They are basically the one person in charge, and they are unelected and unaccountable to the citizens or our elected officials, and that's wrong. Ultimately, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, a Tea Party, or a Green Party, or a union, a non-union, if you are a citizen of this state, you should be very concerned about the ramifications of this law for your representative democracy, your community. This is a people issue. Young people around the world, and this is my final point, young people around the world, look to the United States for an example of what is possible. My friend from Tunisia, his name's Ahmed, and he finds great inspiration in our ideals of representative government and of people, regular people, having a voice in their communities and in their countries. As Egypt and Tunisia rise up and work for democracy, we here in Michigan, here in the United States, are in danger of losing our democracy. It's time to fight for it. We, the people, need to fight back. It is time to stand up to Lansing and tell them our democracy is not for sale. We need to repeal the emergency manager law. Thank you.